eternally. Perfect situations must go wrong, but this has never yet prevented me wanting for too much for far too long. Looking back, I could have played it differently. One of you more moments, who can tell? But it took time to understand the man. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good?
Wasn't it good?
Wasn't he fine?
Wasn't it fine?
Isn't it madness? He can be mine. But in the end, he needs a little bit more than me. More security,
Needs his fantasy and freedom.
I know him so well.
No, your life is with you constantly. No one is completely on your side. And though my world is to be with you, still the gap between us is too wide. Looking, I could have played it differently. Learn about the man before I fell. But I was ever so much younger then. Now at least I know him well. Good day everyone. I'm speaking to you not as a teacher today but as a book author of this book, Success Stories in Overcoming Stress and Depression. This was majority of this was drafted by me and arranged by me, and I also invited co-authors from Silliman University who somehow experienced this illness, especially my mother who was experiencing depression for 10 years because of family problems and concerns, especially in this poor country, Philippines. And also my brother inputted in his book as a medical doctor, Dr. Gil Auros Alcoran, on the treatment for depression. So now I will let Mommy Estela with the story of my mother who was able to overcome this illness and how she miraculously overcame this, which also I believe could help you if you have this problem.
Beating down the blues. Success stories in overcoming depression. Miracle in the midst of depression. My head was filled with a fuzzy and suffocating cloud of depression. I stood near the window of our small house and looked out. My body felt so heavy, weighted with a gripping sorrow and despair that filled my days. Black memories of my unhappy marriage, infidelities, my tormented teaching career, and financial woes dragged me down farther. I was about to climb to the windowsill and jump to my death, when a soft small voice whispered to my right ear saying, "Don't jump, for if you do so, you won't die. You'll suffer from a fracture because your house is too low." Surprised, I immediately stepped back and looked around. I definitely hear the voice of a young girl, an angel. I had a guardian angel after all. This was the first time I experienced a miracle in the midst of despair. A few years later, my family got embroiled in police brutality. During a trivial conflict with some neighbors who were drug addicts, a policeman hit me in the head with his Armalite as I tried to save my husband from his fatal blows. No one among family and supposedly close neighbors were willing to help us. Instead of getting justice,
My husband was charged and imprisoned. Our neighbors, who were known to be religious, mocked us and turned their backs on our pleas for witnesses. Rage and disgust pushed me to declare that I do not believe in God anymore, saying, if there is a God, how come the unrighteous thrive and the innocent are trampled and hurt? A few days later, I found myself standing in a hot desert with two men who were wearing clothes over their heads. One was young and very handsome, the other equally so but older. I heard someone cry out, I'm thirsty, thirsty. We walked towards the figure lying on the sand. It was Jesus. The young one gave me a leather canteen, and I let Jesus have a few sips of the water. He sat up and looked at me with deep brown eyes. I was taken aback by his countenance. He had brown hair that reached just below the ears. His eyebrows were slightly pointed and perfectly shaped over the most beautiful, stunning brown eyes I had ever seen. His face was perfectly sculpted and chiseled, with a nose that can only be seen among those from the Middle East. I was mesmerized by his utter perfection. The scene suddenly shifted. Jesus was lying down on a slab of stone. He tried to get up. Once, twice, then thrice. Finally sitting up to look at me again with those striking brown eyes. The scene shifted once more to what appeared to be a school. Jesus was standing in front of little children squatting on the ground, leading them in a song. Hagala, Hagala, Hagala. I was standing near the door and I sang with them in that language I instinctively knew was Aramaic. Once again, the scene changed to one which appeared like a banquet hall. I was sobbing near the door, while Jesus was standing at the head of a long table. There were people along the table, all wearing long white robes like Jesus, but I could not discern their faces. There were long cabinets filled with jars along the walls. Jesus suddenly said to me, why do you cry so when I am very powerful? Just trust me, for I am powerful. With these words, he threw small jars on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth jar he threw shattered into pieces. But the pieces suddenly gathered to form a new jar again. See? Just trust me, because I am very powerful, he said. I suddenly woke up in shock. It was a dream. Shaking with fear, I sat and recalled the vivid details of my dream. I realized that Habakkuk was one of the books of the Old Testament. I looked for an old Bible which I had stuck away in our dusty cabin. My fear escalated as I read that Habakkuk was a prophet who questioned God why he had allowed the Chaldeans to kill and trample on the Israelites. And God replied to Habakkuk, I, the Lord God, I'm in heaven. Don't keep on asking. Just wait for my justice, which I will meet in my own time. With a trembling voice, I whispered, there is a God, and all I need to do is to trust Him.
Wasn't it good? Wasn't it good? Wasn't it fine?
Oh, so fine.
Isn't it madness? He would be mine. Didn't I know how it would go if I knew from the start? Why am I falling apart? Wasn't it oh so good?
Wasn't He fine?
Isn't it madness? He can be mine, but he needs a little bit more than me. For security needs his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. It took some time to understand him.